There will come a moment, perhaps many, when your bones ache with exhaustion, when your mind whispers, "You've done enough," and every step forward feels like dragging a mountain behind you. That is the exact moment you must ignore the voice of surrender. Because hear me, and hear me well, the road to all things worthy is paved with the sweat of those who did not stop when they were tired, but when they were done. History does not remember the man who almost made it. It remembers the one who collapsed over the finish line, bloodied but unbroken. If you feel worn, if life feels heavier than you can carry, good. That means you're in the right place. That means the fire in your belly is being tested, forged, and refined. So don't sit down, don't slow down, don't give in to the comfort of quitting, because what you seek, success, freedom, purpose, it's not behind you. It's not beside you. It is just beyond tired. And that is where we are going today. Fatigue is not failure. It's the signal that you're getting closer to your breakthrough. Most people misunderstand tiredness. They think it means something has gone wrong. They feel the burn in their muscles, the weight in their chest, the fog creeping into their minds, and they believe that's the sign to stop. But the truth is far more powerful. Fatigue is not a stop sign. It's a milestone. It is proof that you are engaged in the battle, that you're in motion, that you're stretching beyond the comfort of the ordinary and into the territory where growth takes root. You see, no man ever built a monument from his comfort zone. No woman ever discovered her power by sitting still. The moment when you feel most worn down is often the very moment when you're pressing against the wall that guards the next level of your life. The wall won't move easily. It wasn't meant to, but your fatigue is a signal that the impact is happening. The pressure is building. The wall is cracking. And just one more push, one more ounce of effort may be all it takes to break through. When you are tired, your mind tries to protect you by offering you the easy way out. It whispers, "Rest now, stop now, you've done enough." But if you listen to that voice, you may never discover how close you were to something extraordinary. So instead of retreating, pause and recognize what your fatigue truly means. It is confirmation that you're not in the place of stagnation. You're in the furnace of transformation. And what comes out of that furnace? Not a quitter, not a victim, but a force. A spirit sharpened by struggle, molded by persistence, and hardened by the refusal to surrender. Every great achievement mankind has ever known came through someone who felt tired and kept going. There is a hidden law in life that only the determined discover. What you desire most often hides just past the point where most people give up. It does not lie at the beginning of effort, where energy is high and motivation flows freely. No, the reward lives beyond the valley of fatigue, past the hills of doubt, on the far side of your breaking point. The man who allows tiredness to dictate his action chooses comfort over destiny. And in doing so, he abandons the treasure that was waiting only a few steps ahead. Many begin the journey strong. They speak of dreams with fire in their eyes and declare boldly what they will achieve. But then the road shows its true nature. It gets long, it gets steep, and it gets lonely. Muscles begin to ache. Results don't appear as quickly as expected. The climb demands more than enthusiasm. It requires endurance, and that's where most turn back. Not because they lack the ability, but because they let weariness deceive them into believing it wasn't worth the cost. But understand this, the struggle is part of the plan. It is not there to stop you. It is there to test you, to refine you, to make sure you are ready for the responsibility that comes with reward. The treasure is not given to the one who wants it. It is reserved for the one who proves he is willing to earn it, to fight for it, to bleed for it if necessary. And when you stop at tiredness, you walk away from everything you've already paid for. Consider how many souls have been inches from their goal and never knew it. How many stopped digging just before they struck gold. They walked away not because they were defeated, but because they were tired. And that is the great tragedy, not failure, but surrender at the edge of success. So if you find yourself at that edge, tired, uncertain, tempted to stop, know this: the treasure does not move. It waits for you, and it will only be claimed by the one who keeps going when every part of him says, champions are not made when they feel strong. They are born in the moments they feel weak, but persist. The world admires strength. It praises the victorious, the confident, the unstoppable. But what it often forgets is where that strength is truly forged. It does not emerge in moments of ease when energy is high and the way is clear. No, Real strength is born when you are on your knees, when your body shakes, your will wavers, and your heart whispers, I can't go on. And yet somehow you rise. It's in that moment when the fight seems too hard and quitting looks like mercy that champions are carved from common men. Because anyone can move forward when everything is going their way. Anyone can talk of victory when they feel invincible. But only the few, the rare, the great, they persist when their strength has run dry and only spirit remains. That persistence, born from weakness, is what separates the many from the mighty. Champions know pain, but they do not bow to it. They feel fear, but they don't obey it. They experience doubt, but they act anyway. What they understand, what they live, is the truth that weakness is not a reason to stop. It is the exact condition required for growth. Without that pressure, there is no development. Without the struggle, there is no triumph. Without weakness, there is no need for courage. And it is courage that makes the champion, not perfect conditions, not overwhelming talent, not flawless plans, just courage. The courage to go one more round, to take one more step, to breathe once more and say, I will not quit. In that moment, when the body has nothing left to give and the soul takes over, that is when a man crosses from average to unstoppable. So if you feel weak today, good. That is the soil from which greatness grows. Lean into it, push through it, because every champion you've ever admired has stood exactly where you stand now, tired, hurting, uncertain, but they kept going. And that is why we remember their names. The path to greatness is uphill. Those who climb despite exhaustion reach heights others only dream of. Life does not hand out greatness at the foot of the hill. It is not scattered freely along the easy roads where the ground is smooth and the air is calm. No, greatness lives at the summit, high above the doubts of the masses, beyond the reach of the lazy, and far past the place where comfort resides. The climb to that summit is not meant to be easy. It was never supposed to be. That is the divine filter, the test that separates the dreamers from the doers, the wishers from the warriors. Every worthwhile achievement demands a price, and the currency is struggle. The climb is symbolic. It represents every late night you chose to work instead of rest, every moment you faced rejection but didn't fold, every step you took when your legs screamed for you to stop. The hill is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual. It pushes against your will, testing how badly you truly want what you say you desire. And that resistance, that constant opposition is not your enemy. It is your forge. You must understand the climb never gets easier, but you get stronger. The incline does not lessen, but your legs become unshakable. The air thins, but your lungs expand. The higher you go, the lonelier it may feel, but that's because few are willing to endure what it takes to rise. They prefer the flat road, the predictable path, the place where effort is minimal and discomfort is rare. But no legacy was ever written there. No statue was ever raised in honor of someone who stayed in the valley. The man who chooses the uphill path must learn to befriend pain. He must accept that fatigue is part of the journey and that doubt will often walk beside him. There will be moments when every logical part of his mind urges him to turn around, to go back to easier terrain. But this man, this rare individual, presses forward. Not because he is superhuman, but because he has decided that the summit is worth more than the struggle. He knows that the dream placed in his heart was not a coincidence, it was a calling. And he has chosen to answer that call no matter the cost. And make no mistake, the cost is high. There will be sacrifices, time, energy, even relationships may fall away. People will question your obsession, your persistence, your refusal to settle. They'll say you're chasing shadows, that you're exhausting yourself for nothing, but they can't see the view you're climbing toward. They don't know the fire that burns inside you, the vision that wakes you in the middle of the night, the voice that whispers, keep going, you're almost there. You may not feel like you're making progress. Some days the ground will feel like it's pushing back. But what you can't see is how much you're changing. Every step is altering your mind, sharpening your will, forging your character. The man who reaches the top is not the same man who began the climb. He has become something more, not just successful, but transformed. And that transformation, that inner elevation, is the true reward of the journey. The climb demands everything, but in return, it gives you what nothing else can, the deep, unshakable knowledge that you earned it, that you didn't cheat, didn't skip steps, didn't bow to tiredness. You reached the top because you refused to quit, and now the view is yours alone. So when you find yourself on the path, legs burning, heart pounding, lungs begging for rest, remember what you're climbing toward. Remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration that you are not like the rest, that you were made for more, that you will not settle for the valley because your spirit was designed to rise. And when you finally reach that summit, bruised, battered, breathless, you will look out over the world and understand why it had to be hard. You'll see the valley far below where most chose to stay, and you'll know in your soul that you did what they would not. You'll know that every moment of exhaustion, every doubt, every lonely mile was worth it, because the path to greatness is uphill, and you chose to climb. There is a kind of strength that cannot be taught in a classroom or read in a book. It is the strength that is forged in fire, built through repetition, through effort, through enduring what others won't. This strength is not about muscle or might. It is about will. It is about refusing to stop when your body screams for rest, when your mind pleads for comfort, when your soul feels like it's running on empty. This kind of spirit, once developed, cannot be broken by life's circumstances. It becomes immune to defeat, not because it never falls, but because it never stays down. Fatigue is the crucible. It is where the average break and the extraordinary rise. Most people treat fatigue as the finish line. They see tiredness as the signal to stop, to turn around, to rest indefinitely. But fatigue is not the end, it is the gate. And on the other side of that gate is the version of you that no one has met yet, the relentless, unshakable, unyielding you. That version is not created in moments of inspiration. It is carved out of discomfort. It is born when you've given your all and somehow choose to give more. Every step you take beyond fatigue rewires your mind. It begins to whisper a new language: I can endure. That whisper grows into a belief, and that belief becomes your identity. You stop negotiating with struggle. You stop asking for an easier way. You begin to welcome the resistance because you know what it's building inside of you. Persistence teaches you that pain is not the enemy. It's the process. It's the sound of growth, the evidence of transformation. The truth is, life will test you whether you're ready or not. It doesn't ask for permission to knock you down. Disappointment will visit. Setbacks will strike. Plans will fall apart. But the man who has trained himself to persist through fatigue is not rattled by adversity. He does not panic when the storm comes. He's been through worse, and he's still standing. That kind of man cannot be defeated because his power isn't in his condition, it's in his decision. He doesn't keep going because it's easy. He keeps going because he decided that quitting is no longer an option. When you persist through exhaustion, something sacred happens inside you. You gain access to a strength that most people never touch, not because it's hidden, but because it's guarded by discomfort. The human body is capable of incredible endurance, but it's the mind that usually gives out first. Most surrender to the first sign of pain. They believe fatigue means failure. But the few who learn to push past it unlock a resilience that stays with them for life. That spirit becomes their foundation, a fire that never dies, no matter how fierce the wind blows. And that's the difference between those who succeed and those who wish. Success doesn't go to the one who feels the best, but to the one who refuses to give up, especially when every reason to stop is present. A persistent man doesn't wait for motivation. He moves without it. He doesn't wait to feel strong. He proves his strength through action. Over time, his persistence becomes a shield, not a shield that blocks struggle, but one that absorbs it, learns from it, and grows stronger because of it. The world eventually steps aside for the man who keeps showing up. Not because it's fair, not because it's easy, but because the world respects what it cannot break. That's what persistence does. It earns you the respect of life itself. While others are searching for shortcuts or waiting for perfect timing, you are moving. You are building endurance. And day by day, your spirit becomes a fortress. So when fatigue visits you, and it will, do not fear it. Welcome it. Let it teach you what comfort never could. Let it show you the limits of your former self so you can break through them. Because every time you persist through tiredness, you are telling the world, I cannot be defeated. I may bend, but I will not break. And in that moment, you're not just chasing. So now you understand tiredness is not your enemy. It is the gatekeeper of greatness. Every step you take when your legs are heavy, every breath you push through when your lungs burn, every time you choose persistence over surrender, you are building something far greater than success. You are building a version of yourself that doesn't fold under pressure, doesn't back down from the mountain, and doesn't let emotion dictate destiny. The difference between those who succeed and those who fall short is rarely talent, intelligence, or even opportunity. It's simply this: some stopped when they were tired, others kept going. You are not here to live in the valley of excuses. You are here to climb, to rise, to endure what others won't so you can live how others can't. And let me remind you, the summit was never promised to the strongest. It was reserved for the most determined. So the next time you feel like giving up, I want you to remember these words: you are tired, keep going, because just beyond that moment of weakness lies your power. Just beyond your breaking point lies your breakthrough. You were made for this climb. And if you refuse to quit, you will not only reach the top, you will become the kind of person who belongs there. Thank you for giving me the gift of your time and attention. May you never forget the strength that lies within you, especially in your weakest moments. And when the world says stop, may your spirit boldly answer, not yet, I'm still climbing. Thank you.